Hi everybody, it's Renee and Mike Friedrich with the Friedrich Team here at eXp Realty.
Hey, and today we're going to go over the numbers for El Dorado County and El Dorado Hills year in review 2024, and we compare it to 2023.
Yeah, we're mid-January or maybe even late January by the time that you're watching this, and so it was very interesting to take a look back at what 2024 brought with regards to real estate.
So what we're comparing is the month of December for year over year, so December 23 versus December 24. And then we're also going to do an annual comparison. We do that both for the county and for El Dorado Hills proper.
Perfect.
The data is such that the median price for the county from December 2023 to 2024 changed quite dramatically. Actually, it was, if I'm looking here, just about 12% from 663 to 742, which is quite a bit, right?
Yeah, that's a big jump.
Yeah, but if we then compare El Dorado Hills proper, the median price changed only about just under 4%, 3.8% to be correct, from 866 to 899.
And it's tricky with the median price, I think, because really depending on where that high price home sold and where the lowest priced home sold, like the median price I feel like is always a little bit skewed and not a super great representation. I actually prefer to look at the average price, but even more so the average price per square foot. So Mike's got those numbers too.
Yeah, so the average price for the county again is $779 versus $916, again for the months of December 23 versus 24. So that's an increase of 17.6%. Mm-hmm. So that gives a little bit better picture.
So looking at El Dorado Hills and that average price.
Yeah, so the average price there is $1,187,000 in 2023 of December versus $1,236,000. So that's only about 4.1% of increase. But still, I mean, we're talking a 4-point increase, which outpaces the inflation numbers.
Yes, which is kind of what we've been predicting, that we'll see small, more incremental increases versus dramatic jumps like we saw, between, if you go way back between 2011 and 2022, for example, we saw massive increases. That's a huge span of time too.
Yeah, it is. And then we still need
average price per square foot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for the county, again, it was $334 versus $340, so only about 1.8% of increase.
So for El Dorado Hills, the average price per square foot actually went down a little bit, right?
Yeah, that's the pricing, huh? Which means it's probably bigger homes sold, and the price per square foot for bigger homes is typically less than that for smaller homes, right?
Yes, and we can get into a whole conversation on why price per square foot is a good gauge for the overall market, but you can't just take the $340 times whatever your square footage is and expect that that's the price for your home.
Right.
Some of you would love that number, some of you would hate that number,
Exactly.
And it really is because smaller homes tend to have a higher price per square foot because some of the costs are fixed costs when you build a house, you guys.
But we still argue the numbers. So it's $389 versus $373. So about a decrease of 4%, just over 4%.
And again, that's just because of the size homes, more than likely. So overall, the market in El Dorado Hills and El Dorado County is very strong still.
Right. And let's talk about overall sales numbers on an annual basis, right? Mm-hmm. If we compare 2023 for the entire year in 2024, the sales actually didn't change that much. Right, the number of homes sold for the county was 1,784 in 2023 versus 1,835 in 2024. That's an increase of 2.9%. But mind you, and we'll have a graph about this later, this was the second lowest year in number of transactions in the last 15 years.
Yes, right? And so we as realtors all felt that. And actually, I've heard a statistic that about half of the realtors in the United States did not sell a single home last year in 2024, which is really crazy.
Right. And then, let's go ahead a little bit. We're talking about loan officers too and interest rates, right?
Yes.
They are, for our generation, pretty high.
Yes.
I shouldn't say our generation, but I feel still very young, but I remember my first house we bought at 9% interest rate.
Yes.
Right? So nowhere close to where we are right now. But for the generation X, is it X? Well, I don't know.
The millennials.
Exactly.
The millennials and the Zs.
I don't think they've ever seen interest rates as high as they are right now.
No, absolutely.
But the point I was trying to make was that loan officers' renewals are 77%, if you trust the statistic and the survey. 77% of loan officers did not renew their license for 2025.
Yeah, so there's definitely a lot of changeover in our industry. There always is. And I think we'll see the numbers from 2024 to 2025 really drop off dramatically because you just can't sustain a house or a family on no income, obviously.
Yeah, and then let's look back to El Dorado Hills proper, right? The number of transactions, which interestingly enough make almost a third of all of the MLS for El Dorado County.
Yeah.
And again, we should talk about the fact that South Lake Tahoe is not included because it's a different MLS.
Yes.
But we're looking at 567 sales for El Dorado Hills in 2023 versus 579. So just a moderate increase of about 2.1%.
Yes. And I was going to say that they're definitely expecting that in 2025 we will see more homes moving. And I think there's a lot of reasons for that. But first, I want to talk about the reason that we haven't seen that many homes for sale over the last 2.5 years. And it's really because people have been feeling like they have those golden handcuffs. And we've talked about that a lot, that folks that are in interest rates below 4%, there's not a lot of motivation to move and, double your payment for probably about the same amount of borrowing power.
Yeah.
And people are just getting tired of waiting. So we're starting to see, my phone's been ringing like crazy since the end of December, and we're super busy and out there pounding the pavement and getting people into homes, which is super exciting. And I think that there's going to be a lot more of that happening, a lot more movement.
Yeah. One thing that we have to contend with still is the insurance, though, right?
Yes.
So, we talk about it a lot with the insurance. Most of El Dorado Hills and El Dorado County, for that, we're looking at California Fair Plan. We just had our insurance canceled, so we're in the same boat as everybody else.
Yes.
I think you say $12,000, I'm saying $15,000. That's tripling or quadrupling our expense for insurance.
Yeah.
And who knows how the fires in Southern California are going to impact the future landscape of insurance and therefore affordability, really, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we are starting to see that have some downward pressure on some of our Cameron Park, Rescue, even El Dorado Hills. We are seeing a little bit of downward pressure on some of the sales when somebody doesn't have affordable insurance available. So we'll see how that continues going into 2025.
Right. And then we keep a close eye on days on market, right? That's always a good gauge on how fast is the market moving. In the past, if I'm looking at El Dorado Hills for 2023, the average days on market for the entire year was about 33 days versus 2024 was 39 days. That's only 6 days difference, but it's a week. And when you're trying to sell your home, a week could be a long time, right?
Right. Yes. And it definitely makes things harder for planning purposes and whatnot. So always check in with whoever you're talking to about potentially selling a home. Ask them what their average days on market are, because, we'll see houses that are on the market for 5-6 months. Most of our listings sell within 2 to 3 weeks. And so it really makes a difference with who you work with, for sure.
And I think the statistic is still true. If the home sells within the first 3 weeks, really the first week nowadays, right?
Yeah.
You get the closest to your asking price.
If not over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So days on market's also a good indication on what type of inventory we have in the different areas as well.
So months of inventory for El Dorado County, we are just really over 2 months. Although I ran numbers this morning, so for the first part of January 2025, we are pushing the 4 month. So we have definitely an increase of inventory, which again, more sellers are trying to sell. They probably are pushing the envelope a little bit with the price.
Yes.
Which then in return means that the buyers are not as eager of making an offer right away, and therefore it takes longer, right?
Right. And we do have, so we had 25 sales in the last 30 days, and we have about 98 homes on the market right now. Again, this is just in El Dorado Hills, and we've got 18 pending. And this is a slower time of year. So coming off of the Christmas holiday and New Year's, I think we'll see that number tick back up, and we'll probably absorb some of that inventory of homes pretty quickly in the next couple of weeks and into February.
Yeah, and frankly, we're also pushing interest rates above 7% again.
Yes.
That definitely has to do with it as well.
For sure. So I think the last thing that we should touch on today is really the price brackets and which markets we're seeing the most activity in El Dorado Hills. And when I say markets, I mean the price points.
Yeah, absolutely. So we broke it up between 500 and 750, 750 a million to $1,250,000. You get the idea, all the way to 2 million, and then 2.5 million, and then 3 million and up. And what we've noticed is the lower price point. First of all, I was super surprised, right? That when they said, "Are we gonna start at 750?" And I said, "The no house in El Dorado Hills sells for 750." And believe it or not, there was 100 sales of homes, and we're just talking homes, not condos.
Right. Yeah.
100 homes in 2024 that sold for 750 or below. So I was actually really pleased. So, and remember, there was only a total of 579 sales for 2020.
So really, almost a quarter of the homes sold for under 750.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show, Mike is the numbers geek of the family for sure, and I am the one out with you guys pounding the payment and looking at the properties. So.
Yeah, exactly. But so where we saw an increase in transactions numbers, right,
Yes.
per price point, was basically the 750 to a million and the million to a million five.
And a small increase between $1.5 million and $2 million as well.
Call us or text us or comment below with what you think was the most expensive house
Oh, yes.
that sold in 2024 in El Dorado Hills.
I was super surprised,
I
I've
was
got to
too.
say.
Yeah.
So definitely hit us up and we'll share with you the details of that most expensive listing that sold this year with one of our colleagues. So beautiful house. Oh my.
Yeah. I was super surprised, but I know it was worth every penny, right? Because there was a buyer willing to pay it.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I almost, actually on the first take, I'd said the number, so we had to cut it out.
All right, you guys, that's pretty much it for the numbers right now for El Dorado Hills and El Dorado County. So definitely, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button.
And the reminder button for the bell, right? So you get notified.
Yeah. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we will see you soon. If you have any questions about the market, please don't hesitate to call, text, message, drop a comment here, and we will get back to you.
With that, thank you so much for tuning in and see you on the next one.
Bye-bye.